Welcome to another vlog, and this morning I'm in a local woodland here in County Wicklow in Ireland, and it's very still and beautiful. It's mid-November and we've had about 2 weeks of heavy rain and heavy wind, and I expected most of the colour to be bare now and gone. So I'm in a grove of beech trees. And there's one or two that look good. I'm waiting for the sun just to come up over the hill and cast its first rays on the beech trees here. But it's just stunning. The woodland is as still as one could hope on a morning like this. It was forecast for mist, and it's just touches of it in the very far background you'll see up here. But apart from that, it's not as I would have hoped. But it's just magic here. It's just so still, and I've looked for a new composition in the woodland, and I don't think I've been successful this morning. So I've revisited a scene that I happened upon a couple of weeks ago, and it's just fascinating to see the difference. Because when I looked through the viewfinder 2 weeks ago, the scene was filled with greens and yellows, and not even deep yellows, and just a hint of red. And this time around, many of the leaves are gone, but it's been replaced by one patch on the beach here, directly behind the camera, of beautiful rusty red leaves. So I'm going to take that photograph now, and what I'll do is, it will be interesting to see the difference that 2 weeks makes in the autumn. So I'll put the image that I took a couple of weeks ago up, and then I'll put this one up for comparison. And I'm going to keep moseying on through the woodland here. I might sit down and just relax and enjoy the stillness. So there it is. The edge of the woodland, a small narrow marsh runs along between the river and the oak wood, and here silver birch are interspersed between the sedges and the grasses. And it's mid-November and the warm autumnal colours are really coming up everywhere, but they'll fade very fast. And you can see some of the birch trees here, there's hardly a leaf left, where some others behind me are beautiful rich golden colour. Now it's later in the morning and there's fog due tomorrow morning, so I may return to this little woodland early tomorrow morning. because there's just too much happening. There's too much within the actual frame to separate out a particular subject. And additionally, the mist adds a wonderful atmosphere. It totally transforms the scene. So what I hope to do tomorrow morning is to come back here. It's the following morning and the forest has totally transformed. The fog has lifted. It was quite thick coming over the hill earlier on, and I was tempted to stop, but I said stick to the plan, and I've returned to the exact same composition that I've taken 2 weeks ago, yesterday and today. And with every visit it changes. This morning the colours are so saturated. It was heavy rain overnight, and there's hints of that fog around the woodland. It's kind of lifted a little bit now, as you can see behind me. But again, it's fascinating just to see the same scene changing, dependent on the weather and the changes of the season as the leaves change, even overnight. And it's probably with the rain. These orange beech leaves behind me, they're definitely richer than they were yesterday, and it's probably just to do with the rain. And maybe next week they're not going to be there. We're going to be looking at a winter woodland scene. Now, earlier on I went straight down to the little marsh that I filmed in yesterday, and I found a few nice compositions that were staring me in the face yesterday, but they just didn't make any sense without the mist, that mist behind them. And I think I got some nice shots, and if I did, I'll put them up on the screen, and maybe you'll let me know whether you like them or not. You know, they're very simple. They're just of silver birch and the grasses. And actually, what I did was I cropped out some of the leaves that were at the tops of the trees, even though the trees weren't that high, and angled the camera down slightly so that I picked up the grasses. So the lower half of the image, or the lower third anyway, is to try to capture some of that saturation and richness that the rain has given overnight, and then with a very kind of subdued and misty background and that little bit of colour in the silver birch leaves. Well, I've taken this photograph again, so now I've 3 images of it that I can play around with, and I may process them all quite differently. But I'm back because I like the image, I like the composition, and to be honest, I haven't found another composition that appeals to me, even though I've spent 5 or 6 hours yesterday walking through the woodlands, and I found a different woodland over not far away. And this morning as well. So I'll keep trotting around and hoping that the woodland speaks to me as such, and that an image presents itself. But in the meantime, I'm happy enough taking the same image over and over again. There's no harm in that. So there it is. Let's see where the morning will take me.